So here we have a long definition of a rest period. And let's break this down though and see what's really going on here. So we're talking about a rest period of at least 10 consecutive hours. That's after the release of the duty. But what I really want to focus on here is that this 10-hour rest period has to provide the flight crew member with a minimum of 8 uninterrupted hours of sleep opportunity. Does not mean that the crew member has to sleep for 8 hours, but it has to give them that opportunity. And this is important because of when this 10-hour rest period begins. Well, it begins when our flight duty period ends. And from looking at the previous definitions, a flight duty period ends when the person is released from the airplane moving any further at the gate, not when they get to the hotel. So the whole walking through the airport to wait at the curb for a crew van or a taxi to get to the hotel, this is during the rest period, but it's not part of this minimum of 8 uninterrupted hours of sleep opportunity because the person has not reached the hotel yet. So what would happen if we had a delayed van to the hotel? Or say, for example, the crew scheduler department books the crew member into a hotel. The crew gets to the hotel in the crew van and finds that it's the wrong hotel and there's actually no reservation's screwed up, and they have to go driving around getting sent to another hotel by crew scheduling. Or, for example, part of the flight crew gets checked in and goes happily upstairs to their rooms, and the first officer, for example, gets to the room and finds it's a mess or smoky or dirty or anything like that, and they cannot use the room. Maid service has to be called, and the crew member again does not have this opportunity for the 8 uninterrupted hours of sleep because they're not in their room. Or construction noise keeps the crew member awake as they're supposed to be having a rest period. So any of these things are definitely valid reasons why the crew member is not getting his or her opportunity for this 8 hours of sleep. And so the flight crew member is going to need to report that to crew scheduling, and hopefully this doesn't happen too often, but crew scheduling may need to look, for example, at not having a hotel with so much noise coming out at night for construction noise, or fire alarms going off, traffic noise, any of those types of things, or traffic jams. They're going to want to look carefully at this rest period. And some airlines purposely make this 10-hour rest period longer than 10 hours. They're going to maybe make it 11 or 12 hours for overnight. That way, you have more of a cushion where the flight crew member does have more time to be able to get to the room, get in the room, and have that allowable 8 uninterrupted hours of sleep without cutting it into that. Because if they don't get their sleep opportunity and they get woke up by a fire alarm, they can call crew scheduling and say, I just got totally interrupted in my sleep. I need more rest. I'm not ready to go the next day. And that can potentially push back the whole cruise day for the next day of flying. And airlines don't want this. So some of them are going to probably look really hard about adding more time into that rest period so that the crew member does have more time for this opportunity for sleep that's required by 14 CFR 117.25.